Hello and welcome to latest dressing room debrief, where once again Chelsea have succumbed to another defeat against Brighton, this time in the league. So that's back-to-back defeats against Brighton last week in the FA Cup, losing 2-1, and then this week in a sort of limping performance to a 3-0 defeat with no shots on target, which pretty much sums up Chelsea at the moment. Yeah, it's pretty depressing. I'm going to spare everyone the sort of dross because it's just not enough to talk about there. It's the same every week. And watching Chelsea at the moment is a really hard watch, and it's even exhausting in the fact that you go and watch them and they bore you to sleep. I struggle to keep my eyes open watching Chelsea these days. It's just sideways passing, slow, lethargic. There's no urgency. It looks like the players don't really give a shit. And it's sort of that sort of counter-attacking, free-flowing, fast-paced football where, although we couldn't defend, you knew that we were going to score and create chances before Christmas is sort of non-existent. And we've sort of gone back to that Maresca style of play that we saw against Man City in the first game of the season, which for me sort of spelt trouble. And then it changed, but we've resorted back to that, and you can see in our results. I don't think we're going to get top four now, which is amazing because to bottle that when you're in second position just before Christmas, it just shows how bad we've been. It's literally now, it's just a mess from top to bottom, from the owners, sporting directors. The problem is that they're literally running the club like the team that's just beat us back to back. They're literally recruiting youngsters and hoping their market value goes up over time. So that way they can, they won't make a loss and they can sell them for profit. But you're at Chelsea Football Club, and Jamie Carragher said it spot on in commentary yesterday that Chelsea has never been a project club. Chelsea is serial winners in the last 20 years. And literally that couldn't have summed it up more. These guys have come in, and for me, they're way out of their depth, from the manager, sporting directors, and the owners who don't have a clue. They've spent over £1 billion in transfer fees. With that to show for it, it's absolutely abysmal. How can you literally build a squad out of youngsters and talent, spend over 1 billion and not be competing? And then you've got the manager coming out with loser sentiments such as, oh, we weren't meant to compete in the top four this season. It's meant to be a 2-year plan for that. And then we're meant to compete for trophies in 5 to 10 years. This is Chelsea Football Club. You want instant success, not in 5 to 10 years. If you want that, go back to Leicester or a mid-table team, because that's just not it here. That's a loser mentality. And that's no disrespect to mid-table clubs, but that's not what you're expected to do when you come in and you've got a club that is used to winning silverware. But it's not even that. It's more expansive than that, because I just think the whole thing's a mess. The sporting directors somehow still have a job. They said judge them in 4 transfer windows. They've had 4 transfer windows, and we're still missing a goalkeeper, an experienced and good centre half, a striker who can score goals, because as you can see, we've got no attacking threat whatsoever, judging by yesterday. We don't even look like scoring. And they've spent over 1 billion. 1 billion on what? What is there to show for that? And then again, classic, everyone keeps going on about what a touch from Matoma. Yeah, it was great. But when a ball was travelled 60 yards from the goalkeeper and no one's challenging their striker, Chaloba's got to either attempt to hit it or just rough him up a bit, just go in, push him, sort of, make it uneasy for him to control that ball instead of just letting him bring it down like he did. And then you've got Colwill for that third goal. He does it every game, makes mistakes. He's so lightweight at the back. He gives it this macho man sort of exterior, to the ref and opposition, but he's literally just gets barely touched, but gives the ball away, so he falls down. And I just don't think anyone could defend. Defending in footballs, it's not been helped by the fact that referees, you blow on someone these days and they go down, and it's literally a non-contact sport. And I'm not talking about over the top of the ball with the VAR red card decisions. I'm just talking about literally barely there contact and they're giving fouls for it. You might as well make football a non-contact sport, because no one can defend. Defenders, goalkeepers, you can see the way it's going with this boring possession-based style of play. Everyone's trying to copy Pep, which I find absolutely boring because no one else can be Pep Guardiola. And people should be inventing their own styles, which is why I think football's so dull because everyone's trying to play the same way. You've got goalkeepers and defenders who are more told to be good in possession and on the ball than actual defending and being, keeping the ball out of the net. And that's where I think football's taking an absolute nosedive, is that defenders can't defend anymore, and goalkeepers can't keep. There's very little world class out there. Chelsea have been crying out also for experienced and leaders for a while, and they've literally lost one last year by letting Thiago Silva go. They've not replaced that, and it's evident. Literally, they look so sort of getting bullied every week, and they look like they've got no answer for it. Get involved. But yeah, I'm just tired of talking about the same old thing, and it's only going to get worse at the moment, in my opinion, because literally Maresca's so stubborn that he won't change his the way he sets up the team. He's got no plan B. You would have thought that what I find absolute insanity is teams have worked Maresca's style of play out. They pack the defence in, they sit deep, they counter, they get a goal ahead. Chelsea pass it sideways, lethargic. They've got overloading the centre of the pitch, which I don't understand. Instead of getting the fullbacks to, overlap the wingers. And there's no one up front that makes any runs for crosses or anything. They all just stand still. And he's got no plan B. I mean, I thought it would be the logical thing to change up the way you play against certain teams, but clearly Maresca doesn't. He goes, "Go on, boys, we'll just pass it and bore the fans to death." Probably, which is why there's no atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, because everyone's fallen asleep, and they just pass it in front of the opposing team, sideways, slow, no attacking, and yeah, I just think that I don't get why you wouldn't play differently to beat other teams and attack their weaknesses. I don't know. I think it's a bit of an arrogance to go out there and think we can play the same way every week and win. But yeah, we've got Aston Villa away, which is probably going to be another defeat next week, because they're much better than Brighton. So yeah, look forward to covering that.